Hi, my name is Joe Skehan. I'm the Director of Product Management here at Venafi. We are the leaders in enterprise key and certificate management. So there you go. Today we're going to talk about network SSL certificate discovery. So if you're responsible for managing certificates in your environment, there's probably a few questions that you want to know the answers to. Number one, you want to know what certificates you have, right? You don't want to miss any. So if you don't know about them, you can't keep track of them or make sure they're the right thing. Number two, you want to know who you trust, because the nature of the certificates is all built around intermediate root and root certificates, and therefore the certs they issue that you trust, and you want to make sure you trust the right people. And of course there's that one question that keeps administrators awake at night, which is, when is my next certificate going to expire? We're going to talk today about how we can help you answer all those questions, plus do a whole lot more for that. So I'm going to start off here in my Venafi Encryption Director. The application here is just, I'll call it Director. That's how I usually refer to it. And right here I'm in the Windows Admin Console, and I'm looking at a discovery job. What we do is we support building these discovery jobs that look across the network. You give it a range of IP addresses and ports, and it goes out and connects to those and see what's on that. We're pretty intelligent about what we find, so we can grab things pretty quickly and sort them into their buckets. What we're going to look for is SSL certificates, either used on a web server, on a mail server, on maybe an MQ server. You might have application servers that do them, any number of things. So we'll connect to those and bring those down. If we find an SSH server, right, an SSH server presenting an SSH public key, we'll also capture that and store it in the SSH results. We'll talk about SSH results in a different video. What I'm looking at here is a little discovery I ran against the network. You can see pretty clearly here in the discovery details that I ran this job a few minutes ago. It took about 4 minutes to run. It found there was a total of 24,564 things that it went, places that it looked. That's a combination of ports and addresses. It found responses on 390 of those. Of those, 238 returned keys, those are SSH keys, and 80 of them returned certificates. Now, how do we get that to do it? Let me walk through the settings here just a little bit and give you a description. Here are the configuration settings for this discovery scan. Again, this is a network discovery scan. I've got a description I've just typed in pretty randomly there. I've given it prioritization. I've set a contact so somebody can be notified or responsible for it. I've also told it to resolve host names. What that means is when I find something on an address, I'll go ahead and take that IP address, give it to DNS, and get back a host name, and that way I can give you a host name connected to that certificate where I found it. A lot of times that's more useful. It does slow the process down a little bit, but not by a lot. And then down here you see the actual addresses and ports that are involved in this scan. I'll hit edit so we can bring this up. What I've defined here is 8 Class C addresses. So I'm 192.168, I'm 0.1 to 7.255, so that's 8 full Class C addresses. I'm scanning on port 22, which is the default SSH port, and then 11 ports there between 440 and 450, just because in our QA environment we have a bunch of certs on a bunch of ports, and this makes the results look better. So there you go. Now this job ran, as we saw in the summary here. You can see this job took about, I don't know, 4 minutes to run, 4 or 5 minutes to run like that, and it found 80 certs. So we come over here to the certificate results queue, and what I see here is all the certs that I found. So if I wanted to bring one of these under management, I just click on it, but you can see immediately I'm answering questions here, right? You know, by default we sort on this valid to column. So right here you can see, wow, when's the next cert going to expire? Well, I found a bunch of expired certs, but you can see I come down here, today's, let's see, we had a cert expire today. You see right here I got another one coming up here on this F5 device right there. So I've answered the question quickly and concisely about who, when my next certificate expires. The next column here is issuer. So that's the question, who do you trust? Look at all these certificate authorities. Some of these I probably want to keep, and I definitely want to keep track of them as well. And some of them might be questionable. I might have CAs here that somebody just stuck underneath their desk and fired it up, and you know, I may be relying on those certificates. That would be a bad thing. I also get some great information about things like key size. If you look and I look at this result set, you see this column I just kicked up here. If I click on key size, then now I can actually sort by the size of the key pair that's used in the certificate. And you can see I've got some actionable results there. A 768-bit key is not something that we want lurking around our environment. So again, I mentioned we talk about SSH results, but we'll talk about those next. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and take one of these. Let me go back to sorting by the valid to here. Whoops, we'll get one of those. And then I'll take one of these under management. And I think, if I'm correct, that was the one we wanted to look at. So I'll select that. I'll hit this little button that says manage here, and that's going to bring that certificate under management. Now when I do that, I have a whole new set of questions that I'm going to answer about making sure things don't expire when I'm not paying attention or whatever. But before I continue here, we're going to break up this video on SSL network discovery, and next time when I come back, we'll talk about what happens when we bring these certificates under management to make sure that you can keep track of them ongoingly. Again, I'm Joe Skehan, Director of Product Management here at Venafi. Thanks for joining me on this video demo.
Okay.